Today is primary day in New York, and we have three candidates claiming New York as their home in one way or another. So we're going to actually look at the neighborhoods that the candidates call home. I'm starting this morning in Jamaica Estates, which is the neighborhood where Donald Trump grew up.
This is the house of Donald Trump. This is where he grew up about 50 years ago. And it was always a very prominent home in this community. Everybody knew, oh, the Trump family lives here.
Developers like the Trump family developed this area and built the home in which Donald Trump grew up.
And on my left, the 179th Street stop of the New York City subway station, just 2 blocks down.
In terms of Bernie's Brooklyn, a lot of people who lived here, even back when Donald Trump did, came from Brooklyn. My family all came from Brooklyn, and this was moving out to the suburbs in those days. But then again, an apartment in Manhattan costs more than probably one of these large houses would cost. So it's all relative.
That's
right?
probably true. Claudette, you grew up around here, right? Can
Yes.
you tell me a little bit about what it was like to grow up around here?
Oh, it was always a beautiful neighborhood, and very community-like, lots of kids out on the streets playing. We all went to school in this neighborhood, and it was just, a lovely place. In fact, my school, where I went to elementary school, is right here.
And this church
Yeah.
has some significance, Claudette, does it?
The church, well, the property here, one of the original developers of Jamaica Estates had his home on this property that now includes the church, the school, the monastery. My mother used to go there, and she would tell me that she'd see Mrs. Trump in church.
I see the variety of sizes of homes. These are smaller homes here, as compared with the Trump home.
And houses in this area are selling quite quickly now, often over asking price. I think a smaller Tudor here might be just plus or minus $1 million, a little over, say $1 million to $1.5 million. A large house like that would easily go over $3 million.
Yeah.
That house just sold for 1.685.
Which is well within the price range of two-bedroom
Yes,
apartments in Manhattan.
I know.
That's for sure.
We're going to hop on the highway now, and we cross over from Jamaica Estates to Forest Hills. And this is the ride that Donald Trump took every morning going to Kew Forest School,
Right.
where he went to elementary school.
When Donald Trump grew up here, it would have been extremely homogenous, and now it's a lot more diverse. Is that?
We really like to say that Forest Hills and Jamaica Estates reflect the diversity of New York City. They're wonderfully diverse. Our own family is very diverse, and our neighbors, people from all different countries. The United Nations School is located in Jamaica Estates, and here we are.
All right.
Donald Trump's
Kew Forest School.
So there's someone else that I've heard of who went to Kew Forest School, maybe not quite as famous as Donald Trump.
Mr. Donald Trump and members of his family, I believe.
But
Siblings.
also you, right?
Oh, I did as well.
Now we are in Chappaqua, which is the hamlet in Westchester that the Clintons moved their family to in 1999. I decided that my Chappaqua stop is going to start with a bit of pretend house shopping. So here I'm just going to knock on the door. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, Erica.
Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Debbie Goldenberg. I work at Douglas Elliman in Chappaqua, New York, and this is my partner.
Hi, I'm Tori Miller. I am part of the Miller Goldenberg team, and this is one of our listings, and it is a beautiful home. Not that typical necessarily of Chappaqua. It's definitely one of our higher end homes. The house is on the market for $2.575, $2,575,000. It's about 7,700 square feet.
Hillary's house is a Dutch colonial, and this is more of a typical colonial. Hillary's house, I haven't been in it, so I don't know the current value of the house.
Yeah, the Clintons live in a kind of Nantucket-style Dutch colonial, and value-wise, I think just the reputation of them being there is probably going to inflate that price a little bit.
And what do you think made the Clintons choose Chappaqua?
I think the fact that it's close to New York City, and we do have local airports close by, and we're 45 minutes outside of New York City, and
I think it's quaint and low key, and I think that was attractive to them at the time, that it wasn't a well publicized community.
Where is Chappaqua and what kind of town is it?
we're in Westchester. It's kind of mid-Westchester. It's about 45 minutes north of New York City. We have about 17,000 residents. And what's also very nice about Chappaqua is there's not a lot of chain stores per se. It's a lot of local mom and pop, just very intimate, small town America here. I'm just going to point out right in front of you
The Horace Greeley House.
is the Horace Greeley House. It's the Historical Society, and it's been fully renovated.
And the home to a man who also ran for
President
while
back in
living
the
Chappaqua.
1800s, exactly. A lot of New York City residents, as they start to have kids and start to feel a little bit squeezed in their apartments, who desire to have a little bit more land space, play area for children, and have phenomenal schools. That's what Chappaqua is really known for, its school system. It's one of the best in the state and in the country. We're just pulled up to Lang's Deli, which is kind of a local institution here, and
We're
a
gonna
favorite,
actually jump out of the car here, yeah?
a favorite of the Clintons. Not only does Hillary still visit here, she's very present. It's pretty amazing that they are as local as they are.
And now, as per popular demand that we got in some of the comments, we are in Bernie's Brooklyn. This is actually the apartment building where Bernie grew up. So I'm going to take a couple steps back, see if you can see it all right without me getting hit by a car. So there you go.
Hi, I'm Jan Rosenberg, a sociologist, retired from that, long teaching career, and founder of Brooklyn Hearth Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Steve Slavin. I'm an economist. And I met Bernie in high school. We were both on the track team. We ran distance, mile, cross country. And later we became college roommates for one semester at Brooklyn College. Bernie loved to play basketball when he was a kid. And when he was going to PS 197 and he was in the 8th grade, which was the top grade, he was on the basketball team that was they became borough champions.
So it's a neighborhood that has both apartments, families squeezed into one-bedroom apartments still, I'm sure, and families living in these very lovely single-family houses. And it gives you some sense of the mix of classes of people who live in the neighborhood.
When you guys and Bernie were sort of coming through high school and college, what political issues were very important to you?
Well, the civil rights movement was very important. The Vietnam War was very important. Those were defining issues for our generation. So I think that it was kind of the yearning to go to Vermont, to go to someplace rural, to live a different kind of life was the flip side of the kind of beginnings of breakdown in New York City. And there was increasingly the perception that New York wasn't going to be fixed, wasn't coming back.
Can you talk a little bit about kids growing up here, when you grew up here? What challenges did they have to beat?
Well, there was rampant anti-Semitism. And, we didn't feel it because we were living in an insular neighborhood. So in 1958, he ran for school president and he lost. His platform was unusual for a high school student. Instead of asking for better food in the cafeteria or less homework or longer vacations, his platform was to set up an aid program from our high school to give aid to Korean War orphans. And he lost the election, but he convinced the guy who beat him to take up that platform. His conscience was so well developed, his sympathy for the underdog, and it wasn't self-serving. This was not going to help him get elected president of the school, but it was the right thing to do. Well, I'm amazed because You know, I knew him at one time, and I actually knew him. It wasn't just somebody who went to my high school. And yet, I'm not completely surprised. This is America today, and it's like we've seen an African American who was elected president. Maybe we'll see a woman elected president. Hey, why not somebody from Brooklyn?